In Munising, Michigan, 65-year-old Starla Goings was living what appeared to be a normal life on the surface. People in her community described her as friendly, cheerful, and easy to talk to. She worked at local banks over the years and was well known in the area. Friends often said she was the type of person who could make anyone feel comfortable around her. But behind that normal routine, her personal life was going through serious changes. Starla had filed for divorce from her husband. Even though the relationship was ending legally, both of them were still living under the same roof due to ongoing proceedings related to property and assets. Her children later explained that she was trying to handle everything carefully and peacefully without creating conflict. She was continuing her daily life, dealing with legal matters and trying to move forward step by step. In August 2025, Starla attended a state fair in Escanaba, Michigan. Multiple witnesses later confirmed her presence there. What made this detail unusual was that she reportedly went there with her husband, despite being in the middle of a divorce. That same evening, Starla spoke to her daughter Stephanie on the phone. During the conversation, she mentioned she was at the fair. Later, when Stephanie asked about her being there with her husband, Starla sent a text message clarifying the situation. In that message, she wrote that she was not reconciling with him and that she simply wanted cotton candy and had gone to enjoy fair food. She ended the message by saying, "The nicer I am, the easier my life goes." That text was sent around 10 p.m. After that moment, communication with Starla stopped. Investigators later reviewed data from her glucose monitoring device. Because Starla was diabetic, the device constantly synced with her phone via Bluetooth. The recorded data showed that after leaving the fair, she returned home around midnight. However, after that point, the data suddenly stopped. There were no further readings, no movement logs, and no additional activity recorded from her devices. The following day, her daughter attempted to contact her again, but received no response. As time passed, concern grew within the family. By August 17th, when they still could not reach her, they contacted authorities. Police conducted a welfare check at the home. Starla was not there. According to her husband, she had left the house around midnight on August 15th and had not returned. Soon after, Starla's orange Volkswagen Tiguan was found parked near Peninsula Point Road, not far from her residence. A resident reported that the vehicle had been there since the night she disappeared. Investigators collected forensic evidence from the case, but details were never publicly released. Later, authorities conducted further searches, including areas connected to her husband's property. Officials stated that foul play could not be ruled out. Despite all efforts, Starla Goings has never been found. Her phone and Apple Watch have also never been recovered.
Story 2. The Duende Voice Case, Spain. In 1934, in Zaragoza, Spain, the Palazon family began experiencing something they could not explain inside their home. It started as faint noises coming from their kitchen area, specifically from the walls and the chimney structure. At first, it sounded like random sounds that could be ignored, but over time it became more disturbing. The sounds reportedly included laughing, screaming, and even what sounded like a male voice speaking directly from inside the chimney system. The family lived in an apartment building where multiple chimneys were connected through a shared structure leading to a common exit at the top. Because of this, some initially assumed the sounds might be coming from neighboring apartments or external interference. However, as time passed, other residents in the building also reported hearing similar voices coming from their own chimneys. This made the situation even more confusing. The strange phenomenon quickly spread beyond the family. Local residents became curious and began gathering to hear the voice themselves. Over time, the story developed into something larger, and people began referring to the source as a duende, a term from Spanish folklore used to describe a type of house spirit or creature. The idea of the duende attracted attention from the public. People began visiting the building, hoping to hear the voice or witness a response. Reports suggested that the voice did not just make sounds, but also reacted to questions asked by people. As interest increased, the situation gained media attention. Newspapers began reporting on the case, and eventually, even national-level attention followed. Some reports claimed that professionals and investigators were sent to examine the site. However, no physical source for the voice was ever discovered. The building was inspected, and the chimney system was examined, but nothing unusual was found that could explain the phenomenon. One of the most unusual reported moments was when the voice allegedly described the chimney's diameter correctly when questioned, which further confused investigators and observers. As authorities struggled to explain it, the case grew even more famous. At one point, the building was monitored and guarded, but the voice continued to appear intermittently. After some time, the voice suddenly stopped for a short period. There was silence for about 2 days, which led many to believe the situation had ended. However, the voice later returned, reportedly even louder than before. It allegedly mocked those investigating it and continued to respond to people in the area. Eventually, the case shifted toward official explanation attempts. Authorities concluded the phenomenon may have been caused by psychological or human interference, and one young maid, Pasquala, was blamed under claims of unconscious ventriloquism. No concrete proof was ever provided for this explanation. Shortly after the attention faded and the situation settled, the voice stopped completely. To this day, the true origin of the sounds remains unexplained. Story 3. Erick Rian Duarte dos Santos, Brazil. On February 21st, 16-year-old Erick Rian Duarte dos Santos left his home during the day. According to reports, Erick left without taking any belongings with him. He had no money, no identification, no backpack, and no phone. There was nothing to suggest he was planning a long trip or permanent departure. Security cameras later captured his movements clearly. He was seen walking alone through public streets in daylight. His behavior appeared normal, with no visible signs of struggle or interference. At around 1:13 p.m., footage shows him leaving the residential area and heading toward a nearby gas station and surrounding streets. He continued walking alone, moving steadily through the area. A short time later, additional cameras recorded him approaching a road that leads toward a bridge over the Iguazu River. At approximately 1:24 p.m., Erick was seen near that route. 4 minutes after that, a rotating camera captured him in the distance, walking toward the bridge area. This was the last confirmed visual record of Erick Rian alive. After this moment, he disappears from all available camera coverage. Shortly after his disappearance from view, a motorcyclist arrived in the same area. According to later statements, the motorcyclist reported seeing something unusual near the bridge region and looked around before leaving. Investigators reviewed CCTV footage and surrounding areas extensively. One detail noted during the investigation was a shoe mark found in a structure near the bridge area, which appeared consistent with Erick's footwear. However, no physical evidence confirming his fate was ever discovered. Search teams, including police, fire departments, drones, and helicopters, conducted extensive operations in the river and surrounding park areas. Despite this, no trace of Erick was found. At one point during the investigation, an unidentified body was recovered from the Iguazu River. For a brief moment, there was hope that it could be Erick. However, forensic testing confirmed that the body did not belong to him. This created a second unresolved mystery, as the identity of the recovered body also remained unknown. Despite continuous search efforts and public attention, Erick Rian Duarte dos Santos has never been found. His disappearance remains unsolved, and both his fate and the identity of the unidentified body remain unanswered.